welcome to Sherry Hales Ministries. I'm Sherry Hales. Today I will be presenting the message that goes along with the series that we just completed, entitled How to Engage in and Exercise Effective Christian Communication. Indeed. So, preaching and teaching go together. And so, at the end of each series, each teaching series, I always have a brief sermon to go along with the series. So the series we finished was pretty extensive. So this message or sermon, it is just to reinforce some of the things that we learned during the series. It is not going to be extensive. It is just a reinforcement and just something to accompany the teaching that we did. And so the name of this sermon is called Righteous Works. And I'm going to read from James 1:19-27. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness, and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, and continueth therein, he, being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. Pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading of his word. That was James 1, verses 19-27. And so I just want to go over some of the verses and just pull out some points from those verses. So, verse 19 and 20. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. This is letting us know that our deeds, this is letting us know that what we hear will influence what we speak. What we speak will influence what we do. And so God is letting us know, be careful of what you hear. And not only be careful about what you hear, but be careful to listen to what you hear. God is telling us to be swift to hear. You know, there are so many people that are so swift to speak. But God is saying that that's backwards. What we need to be swift in is hearing. Swift to hear. Because our hearing will affect what we speak. The Word of God says that a man speaks out of the abundance of what is in his heart. And what is in a man's heart is largely based on what he has been hearing, what that man has been taking in. That is what occupies his heart. And so God is telling us, be careful when you're hearing. Hear, really hear what is being said, because what you hear will influence what you speak. And so our hearing turns into our speaking. That's what we'll then start to say. You can even look at this in a very real way. Think about all of the accents in the world, all of the different accents. Some people have, Oriental based accents, and we know that there would be many. Some people have, dialects that are from Africa. There are many different accents, but the accent comes from the hearing. It comes from what the person heard. They heard it, and when they started to speak like what they heard. Our hearing, what we hear, directly affects what we then will speak. And then this goes even further. It lets us know that what we hear affects what we speak. But more than that, it is in our heart. That's what then is in our heart, largely, what we've taken in to hear. Those things go into our heart and create emotions. And then we have emotions in our hearts. And as we are speaking, and those emotions are attached to the words that we speak. Our words have emotion. Nobody just talks like a robot. Hello, my name is Sally Mae. Hello, my name is whatever. Nobody just, when you talk, you have emotion. If you have to introduce your name, hello, my name is whatever, however you're going to say your name. My name is such and such, and I would like to say such and such. Emotion is attached to our words. The hearing goes into our heart. It creates emotions that we then speak out. The emotions are attached to our words. This particular verses we just read, it talks about a specific emotion of wrath. And so our hearing goes into our heart. It produces what we then will speak. And not only what we speak, but the spirit behind what we speak is the emotions of the thing. And so if you are listening to people that are saying, you have to protect yourself from these certain people that are coming to take what is yours. They are coming to steal what is yours. You have to protect and guard yourself against these people. If you're listening to things like that, and that's what you sit and you listen to, and you listen to, and you listen to, it won't be long before you start saying it too. We have to protect ourselves from these people. These people are coming to do X, Y, Z. It starts to come out of you, and it doesn't come out of you like a robot. We have to protect ourselves from these people. No, it comes out with force. We have to protect ourselves from these people, and it comes out with force, with emotion behind it, with a spirit of something. Wrath in that instance. What we then start to speak out turns into deeds. It turns into the things that we then do. That's why people can sit and listen to something so long. They listen to it, it enters into their heart. Next, they're speaking it. They're speaking out with emotion attached to it. Then the emotion turns into deeds. And then they go and they do something, whether it is a good deed or a bad deed. It depends on what you were hearing and what you allowed to go into your heart, seed in your heart, grow up into a tree from your heart, come out of your mouth in words and then produce deeds. The Bible's telling us that. It is telling us, be careful. It says, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. And then verses 21, I'm going to go on to 21 and 24. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. But be ye doers of the word, not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any man be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. So, we need to, as we are taking in, the words of God, we need to exercise behavior that is becoming of one having a Holy Father. Our Holy Father speaks words of love and kindness. That's what we'll hear when we listen to God speak to us from the Word of God, from the Bible. He's not going to tell us things that will cause us to become enraged, or tell us things that will cause us to start thinking that we are superior or better than others. He's not going to tell us things that cause us to want to hurt other people. His words have love. And so we need to then have behaviors that demonstrate that love that God has put into us, because we've been hearing him speak to us through the Word of God. We've been hearing him, and his word goes into us, and it implants a seed of love, so that we will do unto others as we want others to do unto us, so that we will love others. We will demonstrate charitable deeds and works, and we will interact with people in the spirit of kindness and in the spirit of love. And then verse 25, but whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. God's law is a perfect law of liberty. God's law is what will actually give man the freedom that he knows he's supposed to have. Because all of us, humankind, we know we are supposed to be free. The perfect law in the Bible is what will give us true liberty. It will liberate the true being that God created us to be. And that is the only thing that will truly bring true satisfaction to the heart, soul, and spirit of man, is the perfect law of liberty that is found in the Bible, in the Word of God. And then verse 26, if any man among you seem to be religious, and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is vain. So, God is telling us there's going to be times when you need to hold your tongue. There are going to be times when we really don't need to say a thing. Hold your peace, in other words. Because sometimes when we speak at the wrong moment, it will produce that wrath of man that does not lead to righteousness. And so we need to learn to hold our tongue at times. And then it says pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this: to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. So God is telling us that real religion is to care about your fellow man. Care about them. Exercise your ability to help them in the ways that you can, when you can. Now, God does not call on us as human beings to answer every need of another person. We can't do that. We can't answer every need. So every need is not for us to get involved in. But there are some that God does call us to get involved in. And when He does, we'll know it. It'll be in our heart. He'll give us a burden for it. We'll care about it. And so when He lays it on our hearts to do something, to get involved in something, maybe a cause or something like that, then that is for us to do. It is for us to help our fellow citizens when we can. If you have, an extra sandwich or something, that is a charitable thing to share, especially if you can see that the person is in need, or even sometimes to just give, because well, I have another sandwich that I don't have it with me, but I can get to it. But this person at this point doesn't have anything, and they likely may not be able to get to anything. So He gives us a heart to care. That's what true religion is. It is truly caring about another. Love others as we love ourselves. He gives us a heart to love and to care about others, to extend kind words, but to also do kind deeds. And then He also says to keep ourselves unspotted from the world. We have to remember that God has called us to a holy calling. It is not living according to the world system. He's called us out of that, to be in the world, but not of the world. And as Christians, we are supposed to live as sanctified children of God, which is set apart for His purposes, for His plans, for His deeds. And so I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope that if you followed along with the teaching series, then you can see that this will complement the teaching series, and it makes sense. If you have not seen the teaching series, How to Engage in and Exercise Effective Christian Communication in Deed, you can find that on my website, which is it is actually in the description on this video, so you can see it there, and then just go to the website and watch those videos if you like, or watch all of the videos if you like. But I pray that this has been a blessing to you. And if you have followed along with the videos, thank you. I pray that they have been a blessing to you and enhanced your life. I pray that God will bless us and keep us, make His face to shine upon us, lift up His countenance upon us, be gracious to us, and give us peace. Until the next time, be blessed and walk with God.